right, let's go to the next level now and talk a little bit more in depth. We continue our discussion on this oil spill disaster. Joining me is Dr. Michael Bruno. He is the Dean at the Stevens School of Engineering and Science in Hoboken. Thank you so much for being with us, Dr. Bruno. We just want to let our audience know and let you know as well that we just learned that that saw that we were talking about just a moment ago that was stuck has just been freed. So, you know, keeping that in mind, keeping all the efforts that have been made and all the money that has been dedicated to this industry, why in the world hasn't this been fixed yet?
Boy, we are all asking the same questions. I was watching those photos of the spill in the marsh, and of course there's a lot of frustration out there. There's frustration in the engineering community. I think most of us and your viewers are asking the question, if this was so hard to repair, then why were we down there in the first place drilling for oil in an environment where we can't respond to an accident like this? Yeah,
you know, Dr. Bruno, that brings me to ask you, when you think about all the problems that BP has been having as far as fixing this, do you actually believe that they did have some sort of a contingency plan if, in fact, this kind of thing were to happen?
Well, I think the bottom line is, from a technology standpoint, the fail-safe was never a fail-safe. And that's a fundamental question that I think has to be asked post-accident. Of course, right now we need to concentrate on stopping it and cleaning up. But post-accident, I think we need to look more carefully at what is being done here in providing a true fail-safe.
All right, so what's the best plan to go forward? What are your thoughts?
Boy, the first and foremost, obviously, is to stop the leak. The definitive stop is only going to happen when we get the relief wells drilled, and that's going to happen probably 2 months from now. In the meantime, containment seems to me to be the best approach. That is also the time when they're going to finally know and understand what the true flow rate out of this hole in the earth has been.
So in the midst of all of this, it seems like we're hearing every day about somebody's new great idea for a solution. James Cameron, the great director, has been brought forth. Kevin Costner had a suggestion. Then there was this brilliant young woman who was spoken about today who's from Long Island. She mentioned a seabed retread. What do you think about all these solutions? Should we be looking at some of these amateurs and their ideas?
Look, as a researcher and educator, I don't think you should discount any solution. But I do think people need to realize this is a very, very specialized industry, a very harsh environment. And I think if you come down to it, you could probably count only in the hundreds the number of people around the world who have the knowledge, the expertise, and the experience that is necessary to operate in these environments, come up with these fixes. I'm not discounting the availability of other ideas, and I would expect that the various engineers working on this problem are considering those ideas.
Well, let's hope they come forward. In the meantime, what would you say we've learned in the 20 years since the Exxon Valdez spill?
Unfortunately, frankly, I don't think we've learned nearly enough.
Clearly.
20 years after Valdez, we are still using essentially the same technology to contain and clean up this spill.
All right, Dr. Michael Bruno, here's hoping. Thanks so much for educating us.
Thank you.
And by the way, you can watch all of our stories on the disaster in the Gulf on our website, myfoxny.com. When you get there, click on the Gulf oil spill at the top of the page. Ernie.